Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to run a critical diagnostic on your facility's air filtration system. We're going to walk through a 5-point pressure test that's designed to help you spot those common gaps before they turn into massive, expensive problems. So let's get right into it. So I want to start with a serious question. Is your filtration system a ticking time bomb? I know that sounds a little dramatic, but a system that seems to be working just fine on the surface could be hiding some major liabilities. It's what you don't see or what you're not tracking that can have really serious consequences for your entire operation. And trust me, the costs of a system that's underperforming are steep. We're talking about the risk of getting hit with serious enforcement actions, the absolute nightmare of unplanned downtime that just kills your production schedule, those mysteriously high energy bills, and of course, most importantly, the health and safety of your team. These are basically the hidden taxes you pay for a system that's just good enough. Okay, so point number one on our check is all about the paperwork. I know, not the most exciting part, but this is your absolute foundation. You simply can't ensure you're compliant if you don't know the specific rules you're supposed to be following in the first place, right? A key part of this is getting your head around hazardous air pollutants, or HAPs. Now, these aren't just any old emissions. The EPA specifically calls these out as substances that are known to cause serious health effects. This is the stuff that regulators are always looking for. Now, if you emit enough of these HAPs, your facility gets designated as a major source. And that isn't just a label, it's a trigger. The moment you become a major source, you are put under a much more powerful microscope with far stricter regulations to follow. So what's the magic number? Well, the first threshold to watch is 10 tons per year. That's for any single hazardous air pollutant. So I have to ask, do you know how close your facility is to hitting that limit for any one of the substances you handle? And it doesn't stop there. The second threshold is cumulative. It's 25 tons per year for a combination of all HAPs. This means you have to track absolutely everything. A little bit of this and a little bit of that can add up really fast and push you right into that major source territory before you even know it. All right, let's move on to our second check. We're shifting away from the regulations on paper and getting onto the physical reality of your plant floor. Your equipment is constantly giving you data, giving you signs about its health. The question is, are you listening? You know, the single most important vital sign you need to watch is differential pressure, or DP. The absolute best way to think about it is as the blood pressure of your dust collector. It tells you exactly how hard the system is working just to breathe. And this is a perfect way to see what healthy versus unhealthy looks like. A healthy system has stable, predictable DP readings that stay within a nice, defined range. But if you start to see that pressure trending consistently upward, or even worse, it becomes erratic and starts spiking all over the place, that's your system's version of a high blood pressure warning. It's a huge sign of trouble. And hey, beyond the gauges, you gotta use your eyes. Look for the physical signs. Are you seeing visible emissions coming out of your stacks? Is there dust building up around the discharge points? These aren't just little housekeeping annoyances. They are clear, flashing signs that your containment and filtration are failing. Which brings us to our third check. And, this is arguably the most important one. This isn't just about avoiding fines or keeping the EPA happy. This is about protecting the people who come to work in your facility every single day. Let this really sink in for a moment. An emission reading on some report is just an abstract number, but dust that actually escapes the collection system, that is a direct exposure risk for the person standing right there next to the machine. And thinking about it that way completely reframes the whole purpose of your filtration system. Let's make this super concrete with a major hazard, respirable crystalline silica. This is an incredibly common industrial dust, and it's a known cause of serious, irreversible lung disease. This is exactly the type of hazard your system is supposed to control. So get this, the OSHA limit for silica exposure is 50 micrograms per cubic meter over an 8-hour day. That is an astonishingly tiny amount. It really highlights the need for incredibly high-efficiency filtration because the margin for error when it comes to worker safety is virtually zero. So how do you actually achieve that level of control? Well, that leads us straight to check number 4, your filter media. This is not just another component. It is the single choice that will dictate the performance, the efficiency, and the reliability of your entire system. This is basically a troubleshooting cheat sheet. So, if your filters are blinding or clogging up way too early, it's likely because of fine particulate, and something like a PTFE membrane media is the answer. If they're failing fast, you should check if they're even rated for your operating temperatures. And if dust just won't come off the filters, you're probably dealing with sticky dust and you need a specialized surface treatment. It's a pretty clear diagnostic path. So you have to ask the right questions. Is your media chemically compatible with your process? Can it actually handle the heat? Is it designed for your specific kind of dust? If the answer to any of these is no, or even just I don't know, then you've just found a major gap. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here, but the goal isn't just to learn, it's to act. We can boil all of this down into a really simple audit that you can use to create an immediate action plan for your facility. Here it is, your 5-point pressure test. Number 1, confirm your specific EPA rules. Number 2, check your system's vitals, especially that differential pressure. 3, validate that your worker exposure controls are truly effective. 4, scrutinize your filter media and make sure it's the right match. And 5, the most critical step, document what you find and then create a real plan to correct the gaps. So, I'll leave you with this one final thought. When you walk into your facility tomorrow armed with this checklist, what is the very first gap you are going to check? Because identifying that first step, well, that's how you turn this explainer into real-world protection for your plant, your people, and your bottom line.